And so I just thought I'd share, when those comments were made, I asked Lieutenant Darts, who currently oversees the city jail, to pull me the stats for the following weekend for that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which would have been February 14th, 15th, and 16th. And so for those who don't know, our jail contract at least was signed in 1986. It's a 24-bed jail, 18 cells. If we call what we have a green status, we're under 14, that means we can arrest anybody who committed a crime, of course. If we have inmates between 14 and 18, we're in orange status. So there's some restrictions as to who we will arrest. When we're over 18, it's called the red status, and pretty much we are only arresting felons or mandatory misdemeanors such as domestic violence assault. So during that week, Friday and Saturday we had 22 inmates, Sunday we had 21 inmates. During that time period, the Aberdeen Police Department had 29 total bookings and or arrests made. Now of those 29, there was 20 individuals who were actually booked into the city jail, but there were 17 who had to be released because of the jail status. Now sometimes we may release someone who's already in the jail if it's someone else that is a higher priority. So it really is a balancing act for our correction staff to have to work through. Of those arrests, there were 6 felons that were arrested, and the other arrests that were of that 29 included possession of drugs, possession of drug paraphernalia, domestic violence assault, child endangerment, possession with intent to deliver, failed to register as a sex offender, probation violation, multiple theft charges, to name a few. So I will point out, none of those arrests were from the prostitution sting. Those were before and after, so it doesn't factor into that. But the agency, and I think everybody knows, we're a very busy agency, but our jail typically is pretty full. And this is February, so you can just imagine what our jail is like in the summer months. So I just thank you for a few minutes to share that information, and I am certainly looking forward to providing, doing the jail tours in April. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other department heads? Seeing none, we'll move on to the mayor's report.
Thank you. Oh, let's see, another busy couple weeks. I went and attended Tim's COG meeting with him, and that was pretty interesting. I got to meet everybody on their board, kind of hear what goes on there. I went to a library board meeting, and they discussed some of the new remodels, things they're going to do there, and pretty extensive. Going to be real nice. They're going to increase the size of the mezzanine and modify some rooms so there's bigger meeting rooms that better serve everybody. Kind of just bring it up to date. Make the little kids area a little better and a little clearer for parents and staff to kind of keep an eye on things there. I met with numerous friends from the public come up to the office, the mayor's office, during the last couple weeks. I attended a transit board meeting. They're working on mostly facilities. They got to put a new tank in the ground and just basic stuff like that. Also, I'm on the facilities committee now at the transit. So I went to a second meeting on that, and they're going to be leasing the offices above where over here at Harbor, what do they call it, Harbor Place, where the bank is and the pizza place is down at the other corner, right downtown here. They're gonna lease the offices up there for their administrative staff because they're using closets for offices over at the old building, and they need to make a change. And so that'll kind of make it nice too for the public because of the location, to be able to purchase passes and things like that right there, real handy. I went to Greater Grace Harbor luncheon and sat with the Ocean Shores group, And so that was interesting, conversing with them. And we learned about things that are going on there at Ocean Shores. Great Grace Harbor gave a good report on all the things they're doing and programs they're offering. And also the county has contacted us. They'd like to put a ballot box possibly in the Tesla parking lot, where it's real handy for folks to cruise through there and throw their ballots in the box. So they're going to be contacting us to work out all the details on that. And I think that's probably about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sounds like a lot of meetings. So does anyone have any non-standing committee reports? Well, I have one that I was going to share. If you'll give me a few minutes, I made some notes. Our Ad Hoc committee on the homeless met on Monday, and I was able to share with the county commissioners that I've received an informal email that it appears the answer is going to be no on our request for funding from the county. And the reasons that were given were that it's not allowed under the RCW. There's no money anyway, or at least not what we're asking for. And even if it was legal and the county had the money, they would prefer that we responded to an RFP under their vendor process. So that was a little disappointing, but so I responded that obviously we want the RCW they're using to, that they're leaning toward, and it's not gone to the full Board of County Commissioners, but this is what the recommendation is apparently going to be. And I said, well, the city does not want to be a shelter vendor. Specifically in our proposal, we noted that the county received no responses to its RFP, and in the interim, it appeared reasonable to assist the city until such time as the county achieves its goal of a shelter for the chronically unsheltered, who are the hardest to find housing for. So we have only tonight and March 11th before this council will have to decide what our next step is going to be. So with the blessing of the Shelter Committee, I reached out to Representative Brian Blake, and today the police chief and our code enforcement assistant community development director joined me, and he said that it would be absolutely okay to share with you tonight that we've asked for his assistance, and that he does believe we should be, even if we're not now, we should be eligible for state and county assistance, and it should not just be Aberdeen's burden alone. So he's going to help us quickly determine whether it's legal for the county to assist us, and he's going to investigate funding options with people more familiar with this issue in the legislature and see if something can be done. And while he's doing this, I will be trying to arrange a meeting with the Department of Commerce to get more clarity on how counties are to use the funds, because like I told them, like I said, we have a lawyer too, and we don't think we wrote an illegal proposal. We thought we tried very carefully to request something that the city would be entitled to under the rules. So we're going, and Representative Blake or a member of his staff has agreed to accompany us to a meeting with the Department of Commerce if we're able to arrange that with their housing experts. So that's my report on where we're at, but this, on March 15th, the funding authorization for the current shelter that we're operating will expire, and so we will want to decide whether to extend it for a short period tonight or wait until the 11th hour on March 11th. I'm looking for guidance here, and I guess it might, under our agenda tonight, that would be an appropriate time to discuss it. So that's my report. Seeing no further comment, does anyone want to offer comment? It's our workshop time.
It's not a workshop time, it's a committee of the whole. So if that's your report, then you should close this so we can move into this regular council.
Okay, well that is the end of my report, and that will be the end of the committee of the whole. Turn it over there.
And then we can discuss it during the city council comment period as a council. For sure.
Okay, with that, it's 7:26. for the February 26, 2020 council meeting. I call it to order. And we start with the roll call.
Alston? Here. Andrews?
Here.
Frank Crosby?
Here.
Francie? Here. Gordon? Here. Dutchman?
Here.
Kennedy? Here. Mackey? Here. Thank you. Rogers?
Here.
Ross?
Here.
Rowe?
Here.
Shaw?
Here.
Jay?
Here.
Mayor, we have everybody here. Good quorum.
Nice to see everybody.
Not really.
Okay, would Commander Green like to lead us in the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting?
I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion by Shaw, second by Kennedy to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. And no additions or deletion?
You have to vote on
Oh.
Sorry.
Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay. If there's no additions or deletions, I take. Okay. We'll move on to public comment. 3 minutes on anything that's on the agenda. Seeing none, we'll move to Finance Committee.
Thank you. So our Finance Committee met this evening at 6 o'clock down in the Finance Department, and pleased to report that the Springbrook Cloud Financial System upgrade was completed over President's Day weekend. They're still working on a few technical issues, but they're making a lot of progress. They're also, the department's working on enhancing some other Springbrook initiatives to improve efficiencies over the next several months. At this time, I'd like to move that we approve the expenditures and payroll.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the expenditures and payroll. Any discussion? Or was it Ross and Andrew?
Ross, not Katie.
Oh, okay, sorry. That's hard to follow. Any discussion? All those, the roll call vote?
Accounts payable in the total amount of $1,170,596, and payroll in the total amount of $90,119.62, using check numbers 24788 through 24809, and check numbers 68048 through 68229, and wires 1169 through 1170. This is a roll call vote. Alstrom?
Yes.
Andrews?
Yes.
Frank Crosby?
Yes.
Francie?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
Dutchman?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Mackey?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Rowe?
Yes.
Shaw?
Yes.
Unanimous. Approved.
Okay, the public hearing is down under ordinances, so I'm going to move on to reports. We have a report from Finance and the Parks Director recommending that the City Council authorize the mayor to sign the agreement with National Event Pros for the Splash inflatable rides in the amount of $4,439.09. I will note that that's different than on your agenda. It was a typo, so that's been amended to $4,439.09. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion by Ross, second by Captain to adopt the report. Any discussion? Nathan?
I'd just like to point out, this is the same company that was used last year, and the bounce houses these guys have provided were so dirty, our daughter would not even go on them. The company themselves was rude. And on top of that, they're out of town. We have a local bounce house company in Aberdeen. So why wouldn't we contact them to do our splash festival and go to tent? So I'm going to vote no on this. I'm kind of annoyed that we're doing that and hiring a company that is really just doesn't put it serious.
Any more discussion?
Stacy, did we put this out to bid, or is this just the company we've always used? Sorry. I just thought you could.
Stacy Barnum, Park Director. Doug Farmer handles the contracting for the Splash Festival. I know there's 2 companies that we've used in the past, both from out of town. I know that Councilman Kennedy had brought to Doug's attention an interest in us pursuing with the company locally, and I was under the impression that they aren't in business anymore.
No, they are.
Oh,
They're just
okay.
not small anymore.
I am not aware of there being issues with the inflatable company in the past, so we can certainly look into it, but we hadn't heard any complaints from anyone who had used the inflatables at the Splash Festival. But I can follow up and get some more information for the council if you'd like.
Any further discussion?
I am definitely more in favor of using a local business.
Absolutely.
Keep our dollars here as much as we can. We're struggling.
Yep.
In the interest of council people that have seemed to want more institution, I would like to make a motion that we table this until the next meeting.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to table the report. There's no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, moving on to the next report. We have a report from Finance and Parks Director recommending that the City Council authorize the mayor to sign the production agreement with Kairos Spectaculars North, Inc. for the Splash Fireworks Show in the amount of $12,700. I move we approve this report.
Second.
Motion by Ross, second by Cashman to adopt the report. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
I have a report from Finance and Parks Director recommending that City Council authorize the Finance Director to transfer $77,031 from Fund 102 to Fund 320. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion by Ross and Catchman to adopt the report. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Now moving down to ordinances. This is the second reading and public hearing of Bill number 20-01, an ordinance relating to business license and regulations, amending the Aberdeen Municipal Code 5.03 and 5.07 pursuant to state law. I move we open the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Ross and Catchman to open the public hearing. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to speak? Come up to the podium. Seeing no one? Public hearing on the ordinance.
Bill number 20-01.
Seeing none? Unless there's any objection, I'll close the public hearing. Okay. Public hearing is closed.
Thank you. I move to suspend the rules and make the second reading the third reading and move to pass ordinance bill number 20-01.
Second.
Motion by Ross, second by Catherine to suspend the rules and make the second reading the third and pass by title only. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. So we have to vote on the third reading.
A roll call.
Roll call vote.
Alstrom,
Don't you have to make a motion to accept the third reading and then do the, sorry. I still want to choose it, I want to make sure to follow the.
I will move that we accept the third reading and move for passage.
Second.
Ross and Catherine, we're voting on the third reading of it. The roll call vote.
Alstrom,
Yes.
Andrews,
Yes.
Frank Crosby,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
Catchman,
Yes.
Kennedy,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Rowe,
Yes.
and Shaw.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. That is ordinance number 6661.
That's all for the finance committee.
Thank you. Public Works.
Thank you. Public Works Committee met yesterday. Most of our discussion had to do with the items on the agenda. Did want to mention, sent an email out to all the council today that our water systems tour is going to happen on March 28th. It'll be at 9 o'clock at City Hall. We'll be meeting. We'll be visiting the reservoir, Malowski Dam, the water filtration plant, and the water intake for the industrial water on the Wenatchee. Be a fascinating tour, so I hope as many or all of council members can make that. So, and kind of the week before, I'll send out an email so we get confirmation the numbers are going to make sure we have the transportation we need. So, done that a number of years ago, so it's fascinating. Kind of a side note there, from the Wenatchee River to Lake Aberdeen is about 3 miles. The tunnel that supplies industrial water, it's about a 15-foot drop in that, all gravity fed. Quite a feat of engineering back in the day. And, anyway, that was fun. I'm going to move right on to our first report. Is a report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending the Public Works Committee and the City Council declare a 6-inch trash pump a surplus and authorize the equipment rental to sell for parts equipment at auction. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion by Alstrom, Kennedy to adopt the report. Any discussion? Alstrom.
Just mention that old Detroit diesel, the city picked up at the new site auction of equipment there about 35 years ago and mounted it to a trailer, made a pump out. It served as long and well. It's got a cracked cylinder and it's time to send it on to the bone yard.
Okay. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
The report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending the City Council shall pass a resolution setting March 11th, 2020 as the date for the public hearing to receive comments on the 2020 Stormwater Management Plan. And when we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion, Alstrom, Kennedy to adopt the report. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
We have a report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending that the Public Works Committee and the City Council authorize the mayor to sign amendment number 2 to the RCO agreement number 18-1214. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion, Alstrom, Kennedy to adopt this report. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carried.
A report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending that the City Council shall pass a resolution approving the Transportation Benefit District 2020 Annual Project Plan. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion, Alstrom, Kennedy to adopt this report. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
We have a report from Public Works and the Community Development Director recommends the City Council authorize the mayor to sign a contract with K. Deegan S. Environmental for the demolition and abatement of amusement property at 217 East Holman for an amount to not exceed $33,768.30. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion, Alstrom, Kennedy to adopt this report. Any discussion? Alstrom.
I just mentioned we had four, it is in report, the council members, we had 4 bidders for this demolition, and they were the low bidder.
Okay, thank you. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
In a resolution, we have a resolution approving the annual project plan for the Transportation Benefit District for the year in 2020. I move we adopt this resolution.
Second.
Motion, Alstrom, Kennedy to adopt this resolution. Any discussion? Alstrom.
I just want to mention, I'm going to go off the top of my head, but for our annual Transportation Benefit District plan, we're doing close to 1.8 million, and about half of that is Transportation Benefit District money, and then the other half is from grant money that we leverage into this. So we're going to be doing a lot of work this year on our streets. It's awesome.
That's good news. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
And we have a resolution setting a date for a public hearing for the annual plan for the 2020 Stormwater Management Plan. And move we adopt this resolution.
Second.
Motion, Alstrom, Kennedy to adopt this resolution.
If I could interrupt, wasn't the previous resolution, I should have signed the resolution. after
Yes,
that.
correct.
Okay, yes, and that would be resolution 2020-03. Sorry for
Right, all right. Any discussion on the next resolution?
So I'm guessing this will be 2020-04.
If it
that.
passes.
This is stretching.
Catching on.
Any discussion on the next resolution? Seeing none?
I apologize, was that a motion by Alstrom and then seconded by Kennedy?
Yes.
I missed in the confusion, I apologize.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
It's resolution 2020-04. Thank you.
And there's a couple of items that will be coming up on the special agenda items that we discussed in Public Works Committee, and talk about those when they come up on the agenda later on. So that's it for Public Works. Thank you.
Public safety?
Okay, so public safety doesn't have anything on our agenda, but we do have a couple things on the special agenda items. We do have 2 reports tonight. First, we'll start from the fire department. The new fire apparatus, the construction is on schedule for early April inspection at the plant in Wisconsin, with delivery in May of 2020. I cannot wait till we get those new trucks, as I'm sure our fire department is very excited. March 5th, we have meeting with architects to start development of requests for proposals for police and the fire facilities. So that will be also a very exciting thing we have going on, because we are in strong need of 2 new facilities soon. Also from the fire department is starting process to develop ambulance specifications for bid. The purchase is included in the 2020 budget. And then, excuse me, coming up on March 8th of this year, the 29th Annual Leukemia Society Stair Climb, which is in Seattle at the Columbia Tower, is 69 floors, 1,356 stairs, in full turnout gear with the SCBA air tanks on. In Aberdeen, we have 7 members of our fire department, and Hope William has 5 members of the fire department who will be participating in this event. All 12 members that are participating in this event will be doing this to honor Phil Oldham, who is from the Fire District 2, who recently passed away, and they will be wearing his patch, if I'm correct.
His picture.
Yes, his picture on there. Okay, so yes. So I think that is amazing. We're just very honored to have 12 people participating in this. It is very difficult. If you would like to donate to this organization, you can go online and donate to llswa.org. You can select the team name, Aberdeen or Hoquiam, and that will allow you to donate any funds if you would wish to do so.
And we have one of our young firefighters who can do it in under 15 minutes.
Right? We just said we couldn't get up these flights of stairs here in City Hall in under 15 minutes, so Godspeed to him. Next from our police department, we have, as Chief said earlier, Dale Green was sworn in as police commander. So yay, congrats Dale, that's awesome. His vacant position was posted today, and so we hope to have that filled within a month or so. Let's see, we'll also be, I'm gonna just get past that one. Yeah, you already spoke about that. Tentatively, we have scheduled staff to be available on April 11th is what we're shooting for. So if all of council could check your schedules, we're hoping to do a jail and police department tour. And I will get with you with times. We can kind of figure that out. But I'd like to figure out if we're going to have, how many people we're going to have so that we don't have a quorum on one tour. So we can set up 2 tours if need be. And we are also going to shoot to do a fire department tour as well. That date has yet to be decided, but sometime in April or May, we're looking at that. So, also, sometime after the jail police department tours, the fire department, as well as the Aberdeen Police Department, would like to offer any council members, especially our new council members, to do ride-alongs with the police department. They do 11-hour shifts. You don't have to do a full 11-hour shift. You can do a ride-along with the fire department as well. I myself have done one. Donnie's done one. And Nathan Kennedy has done one. They are very interesting, to say the least. You learn a lot, so I highly recommend it. It gives you some great insight in both departments. Again, we have something on special agenda, and I also want to bring up for council that I have scheduled tentatively on March 23rd a tour of Family Promise at 6 p.m. And Family Promise is an organization that I strongly believe in. They are a hand up, not a handout. And we did a tour of this last year with the previous council. And so if any new council members or any council members in general would like to do this, or any city staff or anything, please let me know. But I'll send an email out on that as well. That is all for public safety.
Thank you. Special agenda items.
Okay, the Personnel Committee met last Thursday and is bringing forward 4 items for your consideration tonight. There's a report from Personnel and the Public Works Director recommending that the City Council adopt the recommendation for Joel Green to start at Assistant City Electrician for the salary range of 20, Step 5 upon his hire. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion by Shaw, second by Gordon to adopt this report. Any discussion?
I would just,
Okay.
go.
Okay. We talked about this a little bit in the Public Works Committee yesterday. And it was the couple of things that competitive environment right now, trying to hire people in skilled positions, and this person being hired is with 24 years of experience. So I felt it was appropriate to attract this step.
Thank you. Shaw?
The other thing that I would share is that it would appear to be revenue neutral, as this person with this experience is replacing a retiree at the same level.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Item number 2, we have a report from Personnel and the Public Works Director recommending that the City Council authorize the Human Resources Director and Public Works Director to publicize and hire an engineer 3 or create and hire a project manager for the 2020 budget year. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
Motion by Shaw, second by Gordon to adopt this report. Any discussion? Allstrom?
Yeah, we talked about this in the Public Works Committee yesterday. It is a new city position. And it kind of stems out of the some of the frustration staff has had in our current disinfection project. Keep in mind, we have a lot of projects coming up. We hire a project manager for these. Typically, they come out of the Seattle area, paying them travel here and there. We've got a lot of things coming up, and really the department calculates over time. We're going to save quite a bit of money for hiring someone to do this. They don't have anybody lined up. It may be a while before they find a good candidate to fill this position, because it's going to take somebody with a lot of expertise. But the construction management is really important to see that projects get through, the coordination between the engineering and the actual construction, and things get done as they're supposed to be done. So I personally strongly support this recommendation.
Councilmember Rowe.
I just had a quick question here for most of you can answer. I just wondered why this was coming up now and why it didn't come up in our budget last year. It seems kind of close together. So I didn't know if there was a push for it now for some reason versus having it in our budget last year.
Councilmember Shaw.
So we did ask about that, and Public Works Director explained at length. You might recall that we have authorized the Public Works Department to consult. We have consulting engineers, quote unquote, on call. Well, through that experience of building the construction project that's taking place at our wastewater treatment plant right now, it became apparent that it is enormously inefficient, and we lose some control of the project by hiring out the project management part. So some of those funds that we designated to hire consulting engineers will be kept in-house so that we can have our own person more closely monitoring and managing these projects that we have accepted grant funds to proceed with. So there's, if you had anything else to add to that, Rick, please do.
I'd just like to add that, Rick Sainer, Public Works Director, that we did ask in our 2020 budget for an increase in our on-call, at least $50,000, and by hiring this position now, that $50,000 could be applied to this position. So, and we don't anticipate having it filled until at least we're through the first third of the year. So we're looking at 2/3 of the year. So that right there covers over half of what this would be. So it's, and we anticipate savings in our construction management as well. So it won't. I don't think it'll be budget neutral, but it's not going to be a huge hit like we originally kind of considered about.
Any more discussion? Nathan Kennedy.
I just wanted to say that in our discussion with Rick, one of the things that he mentioned was that in the past with a lot of our projects, it's always been that we've hired consultants for the construction management process. And I was actually really impressed that Rick did kind of go outside of the box and didn't do what we've always done, because we've got to stop doing what we've always done. And then, if I'm not mistaken, in the long run, this is going to save us a lot of money and allow us to put more money towards these projects. So I'm actually very much in favor of this.
Rick.
I would love to take all the credit for that, but I'll direct that to Chris Koski, our city engineer, who came up with the idea in meeting with the mayor and discussing our long-term plans. So,
Good job, Chris.
Any more discussion?
I would just like to add that we're going to be seeing a lot of projects happening that we've been waiting for a long time. And right now, the Public Works Department, they're too busy. They don't have enough people to do the work. So.
Councilmember Shaw.
So I just had one question for the Public Works Director, and we kind of have this open-ended thing here where we're either going to hire an engineer or create and hire a project manager, and I was just curious whether there was what we're going to try for first, or what the thinking is there on asking for permission to do both.
we are going to advertise for a senior level engineer with construction management experience. And depending on the applicant pool, if there isn't anybody like that available, then we will consider going into and creating a job description for a project manager, which would be equally beneficial, but not, wouldn't pick up some of the slack in the engineering department while one of our employees is deployed overseas.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Item number 3, there is a report from personnel and the fire chief recommending that the city service specialist effective immediately. I move to adopt this report.
Motion by
Mayor, I have a discussion.
Okay.
Just so everyone's aware, this was a budgeted position, and this is the job description for that position that we did budget for in 2020. It's a very much needed position within the fire department for community outreach and a lot of their programs that aren't being fulfilled right now.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Item number 4 is a report from personnel and the police chief recommending that the city council adopt the revisions to the police lieutenant and police sergeant positions effective immediately. I move we adopt this report.
Report by, or motion by Shaw and Gordon to adopt this report. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. That concludes the special agenda items. Okay, we'll move on to public comment period. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
My name is Al Smith, Chairman, State Aberdeen Police. What I'm about to say is not on the agenda today. It's about what happened Monday night when part of our group showed up at an ad hoc meeting. And 16 minutes in that meeting, basically in reference, we should leave. As long as I'm doing this job, and I'm doing it for nothing, I don't ever want to see that again, because you people do not have that authority unless it's otherwise outlined in Chapter 4230 of the RCW. And every one of you, before you took office, had to attend a meeting just over this RCW. I was appalled. I got up out of the graces of politeness to the mayor and the people that met in that room. And I respect all of you for doing what you do concerning the homeless, the drug addiction. We, the community, are tired of it. But we're willing to help you. We're not here to deter you or confuse you or stop you in any way to get a resolution to this problem. If we can help, we'd be glad to jump right into it. And we're working on it every single week we meet. I was insulted. I couldn't believe they asked me to leave. And I was just there to listen. We're not allowed to speak in that meeting, and I respect that. So please don't do that again. If you do, I will file charges. I guarantee it. And the RCW allows that. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, I'm Debbie Cheney, Ward 5. I would have gone to the ad hoc meeting that they were kicked out of, but I was working, and by the time I was off work, they had already been kicked out. But, so for almost a year, this ad hoc committee has been focused on only 2 to 3 properties to try to move this tent city to. They've not really done any research into any others because they feel that they have done their due diligence. But I have done my due diligence too. Both of these properties that they're looking at right now, we already know that one is only 12 feet from the railroad. Well, the new one is probably 100 yards. And it's just as unsafe when you have mentally ill people living near a railroad. It's not a healthy situation. And there are other things that we can do. But, we're kicked out of the meeting, so we're not allowed to give any input. We're just the taxpayers. But so I do have a list of properties that the city does own. A lot of them are just empty, vacant lots. Hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of property here. And we could actually sell and make money, and then we could buy the property right next door. empty lot over there from the bank. And that's a bigger lot. It's still right next to the police department and it's safe. At the first ad hoc meeting that I did get to listen to part of it before we got kicked out, the police said that this is a hard amount of people to manage right now. They've got, at that time, 54 people were in that tent, and that's difficult right next to the police department. You move them out of sight, down by the railroad, what kind of problems do you think we're going to create? It's just going to get worse. And the people that we're kicking out right now of the tent city, where are they? They're on the front steps right now. You can't let them back into the tent city because they don't obey the rules, right? And we have to find solutions for that. I have a friend here, Ray, that's what he does. He's been trying to meet with the mayor to try to help some of these people find places to go. There's one guy out there that is schizophrenic. I talked to him. He's been in the camp from day one. Day one. He's been out there in the rain and the cold. He's a sad individual. He cannot keep meetings. He doesn't know how to. He doesn't have the ability to even take his own medication. He loses them. We need to make sure that these people who are getting all these grants, the $17 million, are attending to these people down here. That's what they're getting paid for, to find solutions for them. We don't need to keep building more tents, and we don't need to kick them down the road to another location. We need to find solutions. And we can do it as a community, but kicking me out isn't going to help. Building another tent city down on the railroad is not going to help anybody. I would like to put it up for a public vote. I would like the community to have some kind of input on this. Have a public ad hoc committee so that people can get involved. We all want to help. We just want to help. Anyway, that's it.
Steve Haywood, Ward 4. Ad hoc committee was made about a year ago. Open to the public. Now it's closed. Why? Ever since Andrews and Rowe took over the ad hoc, they've been pushing to move this camp to the railroad next to the tracks. The railroad does not want a camp close to the tracks. It's unsafe. Why would anybody in their right mind want the camp to be moved there to an unsafe place? Many other people, besides myself, have a few ideas where to move this camp. But the ad hoc is locking the public out, so we cannot bring this to the ad hoc committee. I'm not going to bring it to the council because that's not my job. It's the ad hoc's job to bring this to the council. I feel the ad hoc committee should be dismissed and a new ad hoc committee made, including 2 business owners, 2 citizens of the community, and 2 councilmen. Because it's been proven the ad hoc committee, as it stands, has not been getting the job done. They insist on moving the camp next to the tracks. The railroad brings in a lot of money, directly and indirectly, into this community. Why would you want to lose that? Why would you want to take a chance on having the railroad move out of this town? That would just be ridiculous. I don't think the ad hoc committee is doing their job that they were made up to do. Thank you.
Very good, Steve.
Hi, Tracy Morrison, Ward 1. I'm coming here tonight to ask the mayor and city council for help. I would like to speak about Public Health's needle exchange program. I am aware that this is a county-run program, but as this program is administered out of the city of Aberdeen, I feel it important to make this request of the council. Several people, including myself, have been protesting the presence of the county needle exchange program in Aberdeen for nearly 4 months. Twice a week at the health department on Tuesdays and under the bridge on Fridays. What I have personally witnessed has been astonishing and eye-opening. It is evident to anyone that observes the administration of this program that there is much to be desired. There are strong opinions and differences on both sides of this situation. I'm not here to denigrate any one person's views, but I will say this. By Commissioner Rain's own admission yesterday, she doesn't like this program and admits that it is not perfect. For the sake of the human beings that are suffering that use this exchange and for the sake of the residents of our city, I feel we are obligated to do better. To that end, I'm asking that each of you come and observe what goes on under the bridge on Fridays, open up a dialogue with public health, with the county, and with our community. You are the leadership of the city, and your insights and participation are valuable and needed to address this issue. My hope is that everyone can come to the table to find a solution for the betterment of our community. We can achieve a healthier outcome for all. Turning a blind eye to this or throwing more money at it will not solve this crisis. We need only look at King County and California to see evidence of this. I believe together we can do better. Thank you.
Anyone else?
My name is Raven Gregson, and I live here in Aberdeen. And 3 years ago, I started the journey as your first graduate of community court. I stand before you tonight as the tri-lead of your family partner or your family use systems partner roundtable. I work with the opioid use reduction and recovery program, and I'm with the Family Education Support Services to help alleviate some of this problem. There is no simple answer to what's going on. It's a complex problem that needs a unique solution. I'm living proof that if it's done right, it can happen. I hope to hear from somebody that would like me to go into more detail on this. I don't want to waste your time tonight, but I would like to speak with any members that are willing to listen. Thank you very much.
My name is Gene Park. I live up to Wichita, so not an Aberdeen city resident. I'd like to speak about the homeless problem. I come into this fairly ignorant about the homeless. I don't pretend to have a lot of information about it or answers or anything like that. I have some training in mental health issues, so I'm a little aware of that. I think that people should look for a solution to homelessness. And that, I believe, is going to take an effort of a lot of people putting their brains together to come up with ideas that will start moving these people off the streets and turning them into citizens and getting them proper help. And that means people to find funding and people with good ideas. I do know that taking a homeless camp and moving it to another piece of property down the road in somebody else's neighborhood is not solving anything. That's right. You're just creating another problem for another neighborhood. And it's costly, and your money is just going down the drain. So I have ideas about how to approach this. I think some of them are good ideas. Be willing to get together with the mayor or anybody else that's willing to listen. I really think the mayor should form, and I don't know, maybe he's already done this. It's the first time I've, kind of entered this arena, but I really think he should form a committee to really, you have a unique opportunity here. Look at it as an opportunity to actually solve the homeless problem. My God, if you did it, you'd be the first city in the world to do it. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, that'd be great.
But, let's try for that effort instead of looking for things that just kick the can down the road so we don't have to look at it as somebody else's problem.
Right.
And I'll leave it with that. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Keely Kuntz. I recently moved right on the border of Hokum and Aberdeen, but I do work in Aberdeen every day at places like Family Promise, and I also do work with Raymond Gregson. And I just wanted to reach out to our mayor and tell him that there are many community members that are working very hard out there. They're working on their own time, trying to solve the issues that are here because they care. And I am asking you to please reach out to your community, listen to them, because there are a lot of people with great ideas. They're willing to do the hard work every day. It's not just on you guys. You have a whole community here that wants to see change. And this place has the ability to be something very great. And if everybody can just agree and let the community work together, then I really believe that there will be success. I am also living proof of that. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on to city council comment period. Anyone on the council? Councilmember Crosby.
I would like to touch on some of the suggestions that were made here tonight, and I think in some cases it really is a good idea for the mayor to form a citizens council that involves council members along with the community. Several years ago, when these folks were kicked off of the river, I was working with a group that helped with the church camps to, keep these people housed for a while. I think we need to bring the churches back on board, and I think we need to bring the community back on board. I think we need to be searching for grant money from places like the Gates Foundation. They will actually help construct buildings to put low-income people in. There's answers out there. I don't think that the city of Aberdeen is equipped to be the answer, but I think if we can partner ourselves with some community members and community services, I think we can go a lot further to getting some answers.
Thank you. Here. Councilmember Andrews.
Oh, God. So yes, the Ad Hoc committee was formed over a year ago. The Ad Hoc committee has never been public. He has never been open to the public, by the way. Absolutely never had a public meeting. That's not what we do. We're an operational committee. We were formed in response to us having to do something. None of us wanted to open a camp. I don't think there's one person on this council that wanted, past or present, that wanted to do it. But we were forced to. We have to manage what's in front of us. We have to manage what's given to us, what's been placed in our hands. I voted no for over a year just because I was upset because we didn't have funding already in place. And that was something I dug my heels in on. And, the former administration kept making me a lot of promises. And, but anyway, that's totally a different subject. But, but I dug my heels in for a year, and there's a reason we have meetings private because, it's an operational meeting. It's not stuff that's ready to become to the public. If the mayor wants to form, a citizens committee, that's totally, his prerogative. He has that ability. We would be perfectly happy if another organization would take it out of our hands. We met with an entire room full of organizations all around the county. We invited them all in. We sat them down. We said, we have to do this. We have to put this camp together. What are you guys going to do for us? You could hear a pin drop in that room. Not one person, not one organization stepped up and said they would do a thing. They all just said, oh, that's really nice. You guys are going to do that. So it's been totally put on us. That is what's been happening. Public comment period's over, Al, sorry.
Well, I'm really sorry to hear that.
But I will tell you that happened. So
by law, you cannot exclude the public from your meeting.
There is
by law,
a city
you cannot exclude the public from that meeting.
Okay, order, please. This is city council comment period.
But, you know, we do operate on the advice of our city attorney, who has informed, we do not have a quorum at that meeting. It is not, you know, it's not an open, it's not subject to the open public. And we can bring it up to the city attorney when she comes back again. We've already gone down this road, but we can do it again. But anyway, that's beside the point. But I'm just saying, if some other group wanted to take this over, we would be more than happy to hand it over at any time.
Any other council members? Councilmember Shaw?
So, I just would, like, it's really uncomfortable for me to insult anyone, because I would never do that intentionally. And I think it maybe is not a bad idea if people want to be involved. But I would stand my ground on the role of the ad hoc committee and just clarify for our newer council members how it came into being. The mayor was meeting with his department heads on a regular basis and strategizing about this brand new thing that nobody had ever done. And a couple of us on the council, it was the mayor meeting with his department heads and then bringing reports to us, and we all had questions. We didn't know what next steps were. It was costing a boatload of money. And so we said, well, wait a minute, can a couple of us come? And the mayor said yes. But if more of our community wants to be involved, let's find a way. But I don't think the ad hoc committee is the place for it, because our staff brings us stories about people who are in the camp and seeks guidance from us as on things to do, and it's not proper to be discussing the personal lives and situations of people in our shelter and in the situations that we're trying to handle. We keep the times that we've had people there, we've kept it open as long as possible, but these are sensitive matters. We're dealing with, you know, what the euphemism is the chronically unsheltered, and by definition they're the hardest to help with the most problems. And I stand my ground that it is not proper to be discussing their problems in a community forum. So I want to take advantage of the offers of help, and I would support you, Mayor, if you want to try and find a way to do that.
Thank you. Anyone else on the council? One of the things that I wanted to bring up to the council tonight is I would like to write a letter to the county commissioners asking them to remove the needle exchange from the city of Aberdeen.
Thank you.
But I want the council's blessings on doing that. I'm not going to write a letter like that on behalf of the city without the council approval.
Oh, so it's just them that
Or
matter
what
then.
say you? Councilmember Crosby.
I personally believe that the mobile unit, it's on wheels for a reason, and it could easily be servicing the entire community without having to bring all of the drug addicts from the entire community, the entire county of Aberdeen, 8 times a month. We've already got it at the health department. I don't have a problem with the health department staying and doing the needle exchange, but I would like to see some really big changes made, limits on how many needles are given. I would like to see them actually offer. Let me back up for a minute. I have gone under the bridge. I have participated in the needle exchange. I have returned the needles and exchanged them for a diabetic friend. I have also taken the Narcan class and have Narcan in my vehicle. Again, going back several years ago, I was working with a lot of these folks that need help. I feel like I'm in a pretty good position to understand what's going on both sides of it. Everybody I've spoken to, without a single exception, everybody who sticks a needle in their arm has told me that they were abused as a child. Not a single exception. Okay, these guys have got some real heavy-duty mental health problems. Those need to be worked on. Where can we do this? At the health department when they're in there getting their needles. I think we need to make some changes to the program to make the program work. Right now, we're seeing too many needles discarded. We're seeing too many additional drug addicts come into town. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but we're having a whole lot more homeless people in our community, new faces. And if you're familiar with the downtown, if you start looking around and you know who these folks are, we've got a lot of new people coming in. I had a community member come up to me in the last week or so and tell me that he has witnessed on a couple of occasions a van from Tacoma that is dropping people off at Tractor Supply. He has talked and engaged with these people, and he's told by these people that they have been brought by the community of Tacoma to our community to get help because they're homeless.
That's not right.
So there are new people being brought in. I fully believe what this community member has told me. I've worked with him for many years on the homeless issue. I believe him. There's got to be some changes to the needle exchange.
I'm not asking for the needle exchange to be stopped. I'm just asking, I would like to ask the county commissioners to just move it out of Aberdeen. Councilmember Ross.
I would just like to say that if Aberdeen says no and all the other communities say no, then we have to get rid of the program, and it's a valuable program. I do agree with Shaney. There needs to be some changes to the way it's operated. But we can't get rid of that program. It's going to be so detrimental to our community health-wise.
Wow.
And
Why do you say that?
Order, please, order. Councilmember Rowe.
I would like to say that I agree with Councilwoman Crosby on some things and Councilwoman Ross. And I take, with regards to the needle exchange and the issues that we're going through right now with homeless, my personal beliefs have to be set aside because I didn't do this for my personal beliefs. I did this. I ran for council because I want a better community, and it's not always going to be how I personally feel. That said, the needle exchange from people, the information that I have, from people that I respect and have a lot more information than I do, certainly support it for reasons that I can agree with and I can see where they're coming from. To go with what Shaney's saying as far as it being at the health department, I agree that there needs to be some changes done to the needle exchange for it to be more efficient and effective. I agree it needs to be at the health department. The health department is located in Aberdeen. I mean, it kind of is what it is. If we ask for it to leave Aberdeen, then it's not going to be at the health department. So I wouldn't support the letter the way you are describing you want to write it, but I certainly would support advocating for some changes to the program because I absolutely agree there needs to be changes.
Anyone else? Councilmember Kennedy.
I'd just like to agree with Councilman Monroe. When we had the workshop, we learned a lot about how the program is ran. And I totally agree that we shouldn't blanket say, no, it can't be in Aberdeen, just less frequently. And yes, definitely at the health department, but get it moving around, so that everybody isn't just centralizing right here. I think that's a much better solution and get a bit more, control over how much is actually being handed out.
Councilmember Alston.
Well, I served on the Mayor Simpson's committee on homeless issue. So this is not a new issue in the city of Aberdeen. It's going back quite a while ago. I think our little report ended up dusty on a shelf somewhere, but that's another story. I'm so conflicted. We're not offering it. We're offering an emergency overnight shelter, and it's not housing yet. And if we close it, we're going to end up with people sleeping on the streets or setting tents on site.
They already are.
That we can't, at much more than we are now. That legally, there's very little we can do about it. I'm struck. I guess the other thing that I'm sitting on that I don't have an answer to, but you know, the city, or our area regionally, and this is a regional problem, but we in Aberdeen are bearing the brunt of it. We're not the only ones, but we truly are. And I'm concerned what we do more is going to attract more of the issue upon the citizens of Aberdeen. This is a nationwide societal issue. We cannot solve it just here in Aberdeen. So I'm not, I don't have the solutions, but any actions or actions we don't take are going to have reactions. And so anyway, you know, I applaud the members that have served on the committee for the work they've done. Like I said, if there were easy answers, we'd have been through this over the bridge a long time ago. There's just some thoughts I want to share.
Anyone else?
Oh, God.
Go ahead.
I do cleanups in the watershed.
Yeah, we know.
And one of the things that we find are syringes. We find an average of 5 syringes per cleanup. Looking at the numbers, last year we picked up percent of the percent of the units at the exchange. 110. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. The year before last was 110. Last year we picked up 280 needles, which was 2%, 8% of the needles at the exchange. I've done cleanups. Had needles in containers sitting there, and people have stolen them, taken them to exchange them. They get off our streets and put them, get them back into the system so that they're not on our streets. They have that value. They're going to remove that. They get something out of it. If we take that away, there's going to be more needles.
Anyone else?
Okay.
Well, the majority, what that? Oh, Councilmember Crosby.
I'm wondering what the council would feel about maybe limiting it to once or twice a month at the health department instead of 8 times a month in Aberdeen. Because some of these folks will take a trash can literally that and we can buy preloads. They're called, it's a preload, whereas everybody's already got the stuff in it that they're, I guess,
Are we going after the dealers?
If we can make less needles available to be outsourced as commodity, and where it actually turns it back into a needle exchange for the people that need it, I think that would be a good start. The Longview and Kelso community has done just that, and that is actually where it came from before here, is Longview, and their problems were equally as bad as ours. Now they're not. They have groups that go around and do cleanups down there, and they're not finding any needles now. They've limited their customers to 100 a week, 100 a week. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that's several injections a day. So I can't imagine that even the most hardcore users are using more than 100 needles personally a week.
Councilmember Olson.
Just a thought of mine. But we don't run the needle exchange program. It's operated by the county. If some council members, could certainly put some ideas together in a resolution, bring it to a council, we could vote on it and make and that's a resolution. If it's voted on by the entire council, that's got some weight, and offer that to the county as our opinion. But we really need something, I encourage you to draft a resolution and kind of put some of this down.
Nathan Kennedy?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment about the notion that needles are being pre-filled. One of the benefits of going to the West County Citizens Academy is we actually had a presentation done by the drug task force. And one of the things that they did actually bring up was about 10, 15 years ago, maybe longer, they had one raid that they did where they came across pre-filled needles. They have not come across any pre-filled needles at all, because it really is not effective for the dealers to do that. It's more work for them. The dealers want to get their stuff out there. They don't want to be sitting there filling up needles. Not only that, if you were to pre-fill a needle, it might not come back out because it's going to congeal, if you know how heroin works.
Don't know.
So this notion that people are selling pre-filled needles, at this presentation, we were told they are not running into this anywhere. So it's old news, and I think we need to stop passing old news.
Anyone else? Okay, well, clearly I'm not going to let you right. Thank you.
So now he's not going to write the letter?
Anything else for the council? Motion's made and seconded to adjourn. Any objection? We are adjourned.
He's not going to, clearly he's not going to write the letter.